Today, incredible guest. I want to tell you a little bit about this guy. I met him years ago. We tried to figure it out maybe 10, 15 years ago at a little motorcycle shop called West Coast Choppers. Little is a joke because it was a massive, massive king of the chopper scene out of Long Beach, California. Jesse James' shop, of course. And he had all kinds of characters working there. And this guy, Aki, he worked there. His story will blow your mind. Came from Japan with a pocket full of change and a dream to work at West Coast. Bought a VW camper, lived in it. Got that fucking job with minimal English skills. And, and a lot of fucking friction over there. He worked his way in and worked there for years, all the way up to the top of being a manager of the whole shop. And just a great fucking guy and a fantastic mechanic. And he's got his own shop now, Hog Killers, and you can follow him on Instagram. Follow him on Instagram, Hog Killers, and enjoy this episode and support him. Support them. All the people that I have on here, they own their own businesses, and they're sometimes they're broke and sometimes they're on top, but they're doing what they love in life, and that's what fucking matters. That's why I love doing comedy, man. Do what you love in life. Go after your dream, and that's not some hokey shit. It's real. So sit back and enjoy this episode. It was really fun to do, and the guy is just a great human.
My name is Aki Sakamoto. I'm from Hog Killers in Hawaiian Gardens, California.
Yeah. Oh, man, it's so great to have you on. How long have I known you? Like fucking...
I don't know, like over 10 years though, for sure, 15 maybe?
Yeah, right?
Like yeah.
We met, of course, at West Coast Choppers where you worked, and your story's amazing. I want to get into that, but I remember one of the first things you ever said to me, and it made me laugh forever. Yeah. I would always come over there and go, dude, my West Coast is leaking, and you go, you should buy Honda.
Yeah.
Straight to my face. You just looked at me and went, you should buy Honda.
Yeah. That's a chopper, you got to keep working on it.
Yeah. I mean, when you first buy a West Coast chopper, you kind of got to ride the fuck out of it and get all the the bugs out of it.
Yeah, right.
And then once you do, I rode all my West Coast choppers daily, and
right.
they never died, they never broke down, nothing. It was amazing how great those bikes were.
Yeah, totally. We built a bike to. We wanted to ride a bike, not only show bike.
Yeah.
But rideable bikes and, looks bitchin' too. So that's what, then, I was there for maybe 7 years. Almost 7 years.
Now let's talk about, you grow up in Japan?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Japan, and I moved here when I was 21.
You moved here as a dream to work at West Coast Choppers, right? You're like with nothing in your pocket, is that true?
Yeah, that was the second time I came back here. First time I came here because I wanted to go to Sturgis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the reason I moved here.
Now, you're growing up in Japan, and at an early age, you're a Harley freak. How does this bite you? Because I've been to Tokyo.
Right.
Were you in Tokyo? Where'd you grow up?
Fukuoka, which is the southern part of Japan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because Harley in Tokyo, the dealer, was so fucking small.
Yeah.
When I got there, I was like, wow, that's it? Because Japan is my favorite place in the world. I love going there because they have passion beyond belief.
Okay.
Meaning, like, if they like FXRs, or if they like leather jackets, or if they like Elvis, whatever they like, they'll have these badass stores that'll be completely all about that,
Yeah.
So when you're at a young age, what hits you? Is it a movie like Easy Rider? Where do you see your first Harley in Japan?
First, maybe it's a movie. I don't remember. I don't have any like a movie or anything like particularly I saw that on somewhere. But I started riding bike when I was, younger, and a motorcycle, and I don't know. when I ask my friend, they tell me that always already wanted to ride Harley, but I
Right.
don't really remember. I was just borrowing bike
Yeah.
from people. I got no money to buy bike.
You were just borrowing bikes?
Yeah. That's how I
Hilarious.
learned the electrical.
Yeah.
How to,
Now you're in Japan and you go. At what age you go? Fuck it, I want to go to Sturgis.
I was about maybe 19. I think 19.
Yeah.
I got a first Harley when I was 18.
What one was it?
That was a 1990 Softail.
Wow, 1990 Softail. So
Yeah.
Evo motor.
Yeah, Evo motor.
Yeah,
But
I like that motor a lot.
Yeah, that's my favorite motor.
I really believe that too, man. The way that the power comes on, and the way it feels, it's got this weird, like squishy feel.
Right.
And the way that it works in an FXR, like everybody pulls those out and puts these twin cams in. I'm like, what are you doing?
Right.
Just fucking jack up this motor. It's such a better motor, right?
Yeah, it's a good motor, and twin cam is just it's a little bit different, But from knuckleheads to Evo, it's kind of same style of engine,
The knuckle and the
Single
Evo, you
cam.
think so? Yeah,
It's
because it's single cam.
Yeah, and it's developed in years for sure. But twin cam, it's just totally different. It's a good motor and all. You know what I mean? But Evo is the kind of true V twin.
I really
Kind
feel
of
that.
Harley, real Harley motor.
Yeah,
That's
it has that thing where the guys buy the company back, the union dudes,
Right.
from AMF. They develop this incredible Evo motor, and boom, Harley is fucking red hot, man. When that happens, like you had to wait in line. You'd go to a shop, put your name on a list, and wait like a year maybe. And when a bike came, if you didn't want that one, the
Right.
next guy got it. There was no color picking or model.
Right.
So you
right.
buy a Softail in Japan. Where do you get the money? Are you working? What are you doing?
Yeah, I was working. I had 3 jobs, and tire shop, and I was delivering pizza.
Delivering pizza.
Yeah, and I
Pizza
was-
in Japan.
Yeah.
That's
And,
hilarious.
also, I was working at those convenience store. It's like 7-Eleven
Yeah.
over there.
3 jobs,
3
and your
jobs.
goal is to get a Harley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I got a Harley, and I was riding it.
Was it a piece of shit or a good one?
No, it was a nice one.
Wow.
It was clean. Of course, then I got in trouble. I mean, more, they broke down. They
Yeah.
broke down, and I took to the shop. They don't care about me. I'm like 18-year-old kid. You know what I mean? They just
Yeah.
say, they tell me this and this and that. They're just full of shit.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, fuck this. I'm gonna start working by myself.
And that's pre-internet. You got to buy books and shit, right? Like
Yeah.
to like figure out like how the fuck do I work on this?
Yeah.
So when it breaks down, what was the problem on it?
Oh, there's a leak from the oil tank. Return line was kind of messed up inside of the oil tank. So they told me first. I mean, every time I ride a bike, dumps oil
Yeah.
on the ground.
Oh,
like
yeah.
if I let it sit for like 2 hours.
Yeah, they sump. Evo motors sump all the time, but
Right.
usually it takes about 2 weeks. Why
Yeah.
does an Evo motor do that? Because what a mess.
It's like there's a check valve in the motor, and it just sits there, and the spring ball doesn't really, it should seal, but
Yeah.
it doesn't seal that well. So if you let it sit for a while, it just seeps out and going back to engine case.
What a nightmare, huh?
Yeah. That's what they said. They told me, which is true. They told me, yeah, it'll do that. I mean, if you don't ride it much. But
They
hey,
looked
dude.
right at you and said, buy Honda.
yeah.
That's where you got the fucking thing, right? That's what happens when you get burned from someone early
Right.
on. You remember it forever. Buy Honda.
Yeah. But anyhow, the oil tank was the issue. There's a return oil line was broken inside of the tank, so oil was going back to the motor from the oil tank. But they just didn't want to deal with me. They got their money.
Yeah.
So they don't really give a shit. And I learned what after I found out what the problem was, that it really pissed me off.
Yeah.
Because that's not what they told me.
Yeah.
So I went back
They're just
to the
trying to get rid of you.
Yeah, and I went to the shop and I threw the oil tank to the owner.
You did?
Yeah, I was so pissed.
Wow.
And basically, this is your fuck up. That you're telling me basically bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyhow, that's how I become kind of like, okay, fuck this. I can't trust anybody, so I'm gonna start working on my bike.
I mean, what are you doing? You're buying those like the Evo engine motor book? That book?
Yeah,
that
the
big-
service manual.
Yeah.
And back then, of course, they had a Japanese version translated, right? But it's like it was so.
The translation was horrible.
It's just horrible. It's just straight, like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? So then I started talking to the people who go into local different shops and started dealing with them, and they helped me out. And
there's a lot of shops around where you grew up.
Nah, only maybe 3 shops.
Yeah.
And there were not many Harley when I was younger.
Yeah.
Now if you go to Japan now, it's fucking everywhere.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, the Moon Eye show is one of the coolest shows in the world. It is probably the coolest, besides Born Free. It's probably the coolest show in the world. Like I said, the passion of Japan and the chopper love and the knowledge of these dudes and the shit they're building. Even like if you just look at it like 5 years ago to now, it's even crazy.
Right.
It's really wild. They've got like some outlaw motorcycle clubs there and stuff. It's really, really cool. Now, so you get your bike up and running, and you're starting to learn how to work on them. So is your dream like, I want to be a mechanic?
I don't think so. At that point, I don't think so. I don't believe so. But I started riding bike. A year went by. When by the time I was 19, well, I'm riding Harley, but I'm still in Japan.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, same as riding Honda.
Yeah.
Just different brand, but it's just a motorcycle.
Yep.
So
you're not part of anything.
Right.
Right.
And
you're just out there. You're a rider.
Right. Exactly. So I sold my Harley, and I wanted to go to Sturgis. So that's how we got.
You sold it just to go to Sturgis?
Yeah. So
and what was your point of going to Sturgis? To maybe move out here or just go to Sturgis?
I wanted to stay here since I go to different country. So I think I got a student visa. I could have come here as a tourist,
right?
But I wanted to feel the USA, And so I got a visa and I came here and I went to. Yeah, that was the first time I went to, but I couldn't make it to Sturgis.
Yeah.
Because I bought a car, I remember 77 Nova for $500.
Wow. So where do you fly into? L.A., New York, where?
L.A.
And you go, I'm going to drive to Sturgis?
Yeah, I went to L.A. and actually I ended up being Salt Lake. That's where I was gonna stay, where I stayed.
Oh, you moved to Salt Lake.
Yeah.
So you actually moved to America the first time before you come back for West Coast.
Correct.
Wow. So you moved to Salt Lake, and which is Deckerland.
Oh, yeah.
Hilarious. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there today. Well, tomorrow for the. What makes you land in Salt Lake? Do you know somebody? You going to school there? What's going on?
Yeah, I went to school.
What school there?
There's some private school, what was it? I don't remember. Westminster University or something like that in Salt Lake.
Yeah. You don't even remember. I love it.
I don't remember. But, when I look at the map, right, there's South Dakota, where Sturgis is, and there's Utah, right? And I grew up in Japan.
Yeah.
So when I look at the map, maybe 2 hours drive. Maybe an hour drive. I can take a bus there, right? Really? So
hilarious.
Yeah. So I went there and I asked the host family where I'm staying. They go, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And I was okay. I gotta buy a car.
Yeah.
But I sold the money. I sold the software, so I got some money, but I don't want to use them all.
Yeah. Right. You only got so much money to survive in America, right?
Right. So I bought back then newspaper.
Oh yeah.
But there's no internet.
Classified.
Yeah, classified on Sunday. There's a lot of cars for sale. So I got a car, 77 Nova, and I left Sturgis, to Sturgis, and broke down on the way.
On the way, where'd you break down at? Because you got to go 3 states. It's Wyoming, and then it's Denver, Boulder, Vail, and then you're there, whatever.
Yeah, I didn't even make it to. I think I just got into
Wyoming.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
And the nighttime too. It was like maybe 2 o'clock in the morning.
And you're going to go to the biker event, the Sturgis, right? Gotcha.
And again, there's no internet.
Yeah.
So whatever the information I have in my mind, the pictures like old bikers and mean white dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hanging jet bikes on the trees.
All that old stuff. Yeah.
But anyhow, so a car broke down. Cylinder head got cracked. So I was driving and all of a sudden, boom, all white all the
Oh, wow. Water into the engine.
yeah. So that's what happened. I had to hitchhike home.
Hitchhike home. You just
Yeah.
leave that thing there?
Yeah, I left it there.
Wow.
I had to pick them up a week later, but car was gone, of course.
It was gone. You hitchhike home. What kind of fucker people are picking you up? And you speak English at the time?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Maybe
Wow.
a little bit, but I got there.
Wow.
I went there end of July, and I left to Sturgis beginning of August.
Right, because it's that first, second week or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, the two Mormon girls.
Yeah.
They stopped.
They pick you up?
Yeah, and they took me home.
Wow.
Yeah, that was crazy.
When you get in the car, you're just like, oh,
Yeah, exactly.
no
I
conversation,
was-
like, oh.
Yeah.
Dude, that is
Yeah.
fucking crazy. Two girls pick you
I
up.
wish I got their number or name so I can just at
Yeah,
least,
thank them.
Thank them, but I was just so overwhelmed. Oh shit, what am I gonna do? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I was
Yeah.
like so bummed out. Yeah, that was the first Sturgis for me. I never made it.
Wow. And what year was that?
95. Or
95.
96.
So you come back and you're living in America, going to school, and then you tap out. You say, fuck it, back to Japan.
Yeah. I kind of got to the point. Maybe I don't know. It's I think it's my personality is kind of a little bit weird.
Yeah.
I went to school in MMI.
Uh-huh.
But before that, I went to Sturgis the following year. Right. I got smart that time, so I rented a car.
Yeah.
I went there, straight shot. I didn't, just.
You went to Sturgis the next year?
Yeah.
So you're still living in America.
Yeah.
Going to school.
Yeah.
And you go the next year.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
You
went
rent a
there.
car.
Yeah, I went there. I got there.
Still no English?
A little bit of English.
Yeah.
I've been there for a year.
Right.
But still, only a year, only so much you can speak.
Yeah. I mean, if you put any Americans in Japan for a year, they don't learn any
Yeah.
Japanese.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I think it's easier for me to learn English because if you go to Japan, they try to speak English.
Yeah.
They try to help, kind of like help you, right? But here,
Totally.
if you don't speak English, get the fuck out, basically.
Yeah.
So,
Especially with Trump, right?
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
guy. So you make it to Sturgis.
Yep.
And you rent a car and you get there. When you get there, you finally see what Sturgis is about.
Right.
And that's 96, which Sturgis is even more insane now, size-wise.
Mm-hmm.
But you get there, do you have a hotel or anything, or are you just camping in the car?
No, I was going to camp there, right?
Yeah.
And I went there. It was so big in my head, the Sturgis, how great, just my imagination was just tremendous. It was big,
it's going
right?
to be insane.
Right, and
Yeah.
especially I couldn't make it in the first year.
Yeah.
Right, now I get to go. Finally, I get to see it. I waited a year. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I went there. The first thing I saw was a Japanese guy, right, taking picture.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you can talk to him, right?
No, fuck that. I don't want to talk to him. I wanted to be in America.
Oh,
with the
I
bikers,
gotcha.
You know
You're
what I
like,
mean?
oh no,
No,
yeah.
what the fuck? And
Yeah.
it's like, oh man, oh well, just move on. And I
Yeah.
went, then I walked the main street.
Which is insane.
Yeah, which is a lot. It's a daytime. People are so nice.
Yeah.
They're trying to sell shit to you.
Yeah, they got all the booths.
Right. But you know what I was expecting? Like
You're looking for rumbles in the
Yeah.
street. You're looking for Easy Rider.
yeah, you know what the fuck you doing? Get out of here, Jap. That's what I was expecting, really.
Yeah. You're like, like,
know?
what if it was like that and they just start beating you up
No,
and shit? You're just like, fuck
Whatever.
it.
Fuck yeah, you know what I mean? That's a fucking biker, you know what I mean?
I love
That's what
it.
I wanted, though, really.
Yeah.
So I just stayed there for maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Then boom, I'm out.
You went home?
Yeah, this is not what I want. Fuck this.
Wow.
So I was so disappointed.
It's like a 2-day drive and you go home.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like a day, just straight shot.
right,
but
right.
yeah. And
Wow.
I was so disappointed.
So it cancels your whole American biker fantasy, right? Of like,
Yeah,
I mean, you're looking
kinda.
for that 70s shit, right?
Exactly.
That stuff
exactly.
is just
And
incredible.
also, I wasn't there long enough to see all the bad people come out at
Right.
nighttime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I stay there for, there's a lot of bikers, true bikers, still there.
Yeah, yep.
But I didn't get to see it because I
Wow.
was so bummed out in first 10 minutes.
God, that's hilarious.
Maybe I was tired too, driving straight.
That is hilarious. You're like, I'm out of here. I
Yeah.
saw it. I saw
Yeah.
Sturgis.
Yeah.
Fuck this place.
I didn't even buy a T-shirt or anything. I was just like, okay, I'm out.
It's so funny because when I went the first time, I was just so blown away about how spread out it was.
Yeah.
Like, this is going on here, but then in another town, that's going on here. And then you go to Deadwood and you go, you know, to the Mount Rushmore and Rapid City, and it's just fucking huge. And I was just taken in. I was the opposite. I was like, oh my God, this is insane. But by day 2, I was like, all right, it's just too much. It's just Harley, you know? And you're like, wow. It's amazing to go there, I would say, a month before. Or 2 weeks before, you know, because there's no one out there. You can do all these great rides. You don't pay $7,000 for a hotel. You pay $36. Your gas is $1.50 instead of $5, and food's like $1. You know, so it's one of the best places to ride in America.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Wow.
If you get there early enough, there's all the national parks. There's no traffic.
None.
You know, but during the season, during the rally, it's like
it's brutal.
Traffic. You know,
your Harley hates traffic too because it just starts heating up. You need air on your fucking motor, and then it's like it starts fucking, you know,
a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
You know?
So you go home and back to Utah, and when do you move back to Japan? Like, I'm out of here.
Actually, I went back to Japan for a little bit. I ran out of money. So I had to go back.
Yeah.
But I still wanted to be a mechanic, you know.
So by now you've gotten the bug to be a mechanic.
Right.
And what gives you that bug? You're just so hooked on it because you don't have a bike anymore or anything. But you love the culture and the atmosphere. Right.
So I went back to Japan. Actually, I borrowed money from my family, my aunt. Then I went back to Arizona for MMI, Motorcycle Mechanic Institute.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, then I went to, I took the Harley course, and that's how I...
That's a good school.
Yeah, that is awesome. And you know what? I learned a lot because, you know, of course, it's school.
Right.
But more like I met great people. You know, it's like over 15 years. I don't know. It's almost 20 years. No, I don't know. Whatever I went.
Right.
Years ago, but when I go to the bike show now, I still run into my mate, like when I partner,
and
a lab partner, and like people who I went spend class with.
Yeah.
So that's a really good feeling. I have a bunch of friends, in Canada, East Coast, West Coast, and Europe. We all took same classes.
Yeah.
Now we have our own shop everywhere. So that's a neat connection.
Yeah, I mean, motorcycle people. I think that you just have a bond with the people for your whole life.
Yeah.
Except for during that era, and we'll get into that later, of that, I'm a builder, and all that TV bullshit and everything. That seemed to create some dumb drama amongst people, which is so stupid, But motorcycle people, no matter what, you can stop and talk for hours to the person. And it's a different animal, I think, more than even muscle cars. Because muscle cars are a complete passion and everything, but most of the time you're not going to die in a muscle car. You might crash or whatever, but there's a thing to motorcycles where it's like, this guy rides every day. He's somebody different,
Yeah.
So when you're in MMI, you're not learning fabrication or anything. You're just learning how to build motors and electronics and wiring and all that stuff.
Right.
Great school. You graduate from there?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And now, what year is that? Because I'm trying to get a timeline of when all of a sudden the choppers start getting...
I think 98.
98.
Something like that.
And what do? Do you stay in Arizona?
Yeah, I stay in Arizona. It's Arizona, especially I'm going to a biker school on motorcycles.
Yeah.
And that's their certain way they talk. They swear, they cuss word and everything else. You have to remember, I learned English in Utah.
Yeah.
Mormon people, there's no F word, there's no swear, cuss word.
Yeah.
And
you never heard them?
No, not really.
Well, that's crazy, right?
And I started talking to people, it's like, they use this fuck and like 3 fucks in one sentence, maybe more than that.
Yeah.
Right? I think they can't talk without swearing at all.
Yeah.
That was interesting. Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, because then... That's a funny thing to think about. I never really thought about that. Here you learn a language in another state, and let's say you never left that state of like Salt Lake or whatever, that city. you might not have never heard that stuff except for until you went to a movie or
Right.
something. Then you had a movie, you go, well, what does this fuck and shit
Yeah.
mean? You know, those are words that you just didn't hear.
Right.
So when you first hear them, you're like, what does that stuff mean?
Yeah,
Because what is fucking Japanese?
Yeah, there's a.
Do they have that?
Yeah, and it's saying like, like fuck you, fucking fuck.
Yeah.
They're kind of fucking each other, right? They're joking around. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
that's new.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And also, I still remember my friend Kevin. He has a shop in East Coast now. I spent, I think, 6 months in the same classroom together. He was my partner,
Yeah.
hands-on class partner.
Yep.
And he was talking about, yeah, I'm a douchebag, huh? Okay, what's the douchebag? I look at my little friend dictionary, right?
Yeah.
I look up and douche, and that doesn't make sense, right? Douchebag doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
That's those stuff I enjoy and I learn.
That's
From those guys,
hilarious. Yeah. That is
Yeah,
hilarious to think about you learning slang, looking in a
slangs, yeah.
book. Like, dick sucker. You're like, what is
Yeah.
this dick sucker? Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Wow. So now, once you graduate from there, do you start working in Arizona at a shop?
No, I had my friend was working at Milwaukee Harley that
wow.
time,
Yeah.
and he kind of wanted kind of translating, like kind of people go back to Japan and U.S. He was saying that the position might be opening soon.
Yeah.
I thought about it, but what I learned at school is like hands-on stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't come here to become like wearing tie and just going to, you know what I mean?
So he wanted you to be a translator for Harley Davidson?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
There's a position they not offer me, but they told me that there might be opening there. So why don't you kind of try? And but I wasn't really.
Yeah.
You
don't want to be in the corporate part.
No.
You want to be hands-on.
Right. So anyhow, so I went back to Japan because of visa issue. I couldn't work there.
Oh, wow.
So I went back to Japan and I worked at the dealership for maybe a year.
In Japan?
In Japan,
And
yeah.
which one?
It's called Balcom Harley Davidson Saga, but it doesn't exist anymore.
Wow.
It used to be there.
And you would be in there, you were a mechanic there?
Yeah,
And that had to be kind of like a dream come true, except for you're in Japan, right? You want to be in America.
Yeah.
But you're working on Harleys. And what are over there mostly? There's no twin cam yet.
No.
So you're just working Evos and
The shovels.
and are you seeing, shovels?
Yeah.
Now, before we go any further, how do you like the shovel motor?
They're a good motor. It's way more reliable than panhead or knuckleheads. Of course.
Right.
I mean that's a good motor. It's not as fast as Evo, of course.
Right.
And,
It doesn't have any speed.
got a lot of torque though.
Yeah?
The heavier flywheel and stuff. But it's a good motor. They run it for 15 years.
Yep.
But Evolution, the motor saved Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
basically before that Harley was a piece of shit.
Yeah, right. Well, AMF,
Right,
they just.
right.
I mean, they had the pan lower, shovel upper, and then they go full shovel, AMF, fucking.
Right.
But they're making snowmobiles, they're making bowling balls, they're making
Right.
fucking golf carts. So the
Yeah.
motorcycle is lagging, and they're leaking like crazy.
Yeah.
They leak like crazy back then. Why is that? Bad gaskets?
I think just the design,
Design?
the bolt patterns and how they, the rocker box leaks all the time because how they, tighten them up. It's just the design, and I guess when they came out with Evolutions, it's not maintenance free. It breaks down, of course, but
Yeah.
it's a way more reliable than shovel or pans and stuff.
What are some of the weak spots on the Evo? They had a bad bearing, a needle bearing later on that would explode inside. I
Right.
hear a lot. And that thing, they changed the bearing and then it got better. There's some flywheel issues, all kinds of. What are
Right.
some of the weak spots of an Evo?
Yeah, like in bearings, if you ride long enough, it'll break. But
Right.
it's one of those things you kind of have to change. It's not gonna last forever.
Yep. Yeah.
And then transmission, there's a return spring might break down. You won't be able to shift. But it's, again, I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe they make it that way, so it breaks down time to time. So you
have
kinda
to do
work
service.
right? Service and
Yeah, I mean, Harley has the V-Rod.
Yeah.
And that fucking motor has... I rode it for 5 years, never
Right.
even put a nickel into the motor.
Oh.
What a bulletproof motor.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they shot themselves in the foot with that one. All you do is change the oil, and that was it.
Right.
Never did anything to that motor.
Yeah, it's a totally different motor too.
Yeah,
huh?
totally. Of course, it's a water cooled,
Yeah.
help designed by Porsche, and stuff. But anyway, yeah, I mean, Harley does need service because once you buy the bike and the parts, if you don't get it serviced, you're never coming back. you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So you're working in Japan, and then you say you. At what point do you figure out? Okay, West Coast choppers.
I remember there's a magazine Hot Bike Japan.
Yep.
And there's a picture of the Jesse. I think there's Orange Diablo in front of his.
The camel bike.
No, I don't think so. That was a different bike. Maybe that was camel bike. I don't remember.
Okay.
But he was standing in front of a trailer, right? It's
Yeah.
like, oh man, this guy looks kind of mean.
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
tough
yeah.
guy looking
Yeah.
white dude.
You're
you
like,
know?
that's the dude I was looking for at Sturgis.
Yeah, exactly. Right? He can kick my ass. Then I saw his bike. Wow, it's amazing motorcycle.
What year is this?
That was 2000 maybe.
2000.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 2000 is still kind of a funky era of West Coast, but it is badass. But it's not like 2004, 5, you
Right.
know. Actually, 2002 to 6, I think, is when it really, he starts getting all those parts that are cool
Right.
and stuff. They still do, like, 2000 is maybe the Dragon era, where it's a soft tail, but
Right.
he's building the stuff. So you see the bike, and how do you contact him?
I didn't.
You didn't?
So I just, that's if I don't, and I don't have money either back
Yeah.
then. So I had to wait for a little bit. I had to save up money, and then I don't know. I didn't call him or email him or anything. I just went there.
You flew to
Yeah.
to L.A.?
Yeah, I flew
You
to
go to
LA.
Long Beach to the shop.
Right.
And it's on the old side still.
Right, mhm.
Right? And you pull up, and you just see a cage, pit bulls, and
Right.
bikes. And who's there? Bill Dodge? Who's there?
Of course, Bill is there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He is such a dickhead. I went there.
Yeah.
I asked. My English wasn't that great.
Yeah.
I'm learning English, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean. My accent was way heavier back then, of course.
And you get there, like, what, in a cab or a rental car?
No, I bought what's that? Volkswagen Westfäller.
Okay,
Whatever
so-
the camper thing.
So you moved back again.
Yeah,
And
I
you
moved back here.
And where are you living?
In a car.
In the camper?
Right.
Okay.
Right. That's
wow.
why I bought a camper so I can just.
Wow.
And I got the membership of 24-hour fitness.
I love this
So I
story.
can take shower. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So anyhow, I went there, and I talked to Bill.
And you
He's-
said, "Hey, I'm a mechanic. I want to
Right.
work here."
Yeah, I'd like to talk to Jesse. I think that's what I said. And Jesse, then Bill goes, "Oh, he won't be back for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He's out of town. He'll come back in 2 weeks." The tough guy.
Yeah,
you know how he was.
Oh yeah.
you
Well,
know.
he was acting like it was his shop.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
Fuck off.
Yeah,
everything was
basically.
fuck off. Yeah.
Everything was fuck off. Yeah.
That what's funny too is I talked about it before, but the great tattooer when I was young getting a tattoo, Henry Goldfield in San Fran. Anytime somebody would tell me, "Get out of here, fuck off, it's not going to happen, you're not getting this," that would drive me.
Yeah,
You know
right,
what I mean?
right.
And I remember going and looking at bikes, and Bill Dodge was just like, "This guy has no money," which I had no money, but I
Right,
was going to
right.
find a way to buy a West Coast chopper.
yeah.
It was the last thing I did, mostly because he said, "You'll never get one, fuck you,"
Right.
And I was like, "I'll show this guy, I'll get them all."
Yeah. That's Bill Dodge for you, back
Yeah.
then especially.
Yeah.
So he told me to come back in 2 weeks. That was like a couple of days before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then Thanksgiving came by, and I got nothing to do. Right, I was just driving by, and I saw this transmission place open on holidays. Right, it was holiday. I thought everything's closed, but okay, let's check out West Coast Choppers. They might be open too.
Yeah.
So I went there, and the shop was open actually.
Yeah, right?
Only the showroom was open
Yeah.
that day.
Shirts and stuff.
Right. So I was just checking out the bike because I knew that Jesse wasn't there. Right.
Yeah.
That's what Bill told me, anyways. And I was just checking them out, and I saw the showroom were selling T-shirts and stuff. There's a girl there, and behind it there's looks like Jesse.
Yeah.
There's a dude standing, right?
Yeah.
And I look at him, it's like, yeah, that is Jesse. You know, what the fucker fucking light in my face. The bill. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, whatever. But I had everything in my car, like what I have done. Like I want to build a bike in Japan.
Yeah.
And I got the certificate from school and everything. I was ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just walk up to him and then I don't remember exactly what I said, but basically, hey, I moved here from Japan. I want to work for you.
Yeah.
This is what I can do, and this is a certificate I have. And when can I start? What do I need to do, basically?
Yeah. I love this.
Yeah, and then he goes, yeah, because it was Thanksgiving holidays. Why don't you come back on Tuesday, then give you a welding test?
Uh-huh.
Because I wanted to do fabrication, because I kind of knew how to, work on the motors and the mechanic part of it.
Yeah, you know that stuff, but you don't know fabricate, or you haven't been fabricating, which is what West Coast was known for.
Right.
Because they're making fenders, frames, they're making fucking handlebars, risers, everything. So you need to learn to. That's and also it's the key into West Coast was welding. It was always looking for welders.
Right. So I told him, then I had a certificate, welding certificate.
What kind of welding? TIG weld?
TIG and MIG
okay.
I had.
Yeah.
And of course it's Japanese thing, right? Japanese certificate. But I just kind of show it to him, and they come back, and I went back and.
Were you pretty fired up? Like, holy shit, man!
Oh yeah,
that's fucking.
I was just, whoa, this is awesome, you know. And Jesse was super cool, you know. And I went back there on Tuesday. And of course, they took me to the back. All Hispanic guy working there, right? They don't really know what the fuck is Jap doing here. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I don't feel that welcome here, but I don't really care. You know, I'm happy where I'm at. You know what I mean?
Well, that shop had such a lockdown of. It reminded me a lot of the Comedy Store when I first went there. It's just this shop, and you walk in, and people are like, "Who the fuck is that guy?"
Yeah.
You know. And it's also a feeling of like, "Is he going to take my spot?"
Right.
You know what I mean?
Job security. Yeah. For
totally.
So I went back there, and they gave me a three piece of sheet metal, like weld this and that, right? And I look at it, and because there's the George, his name's Jorge.
Yeah, Jorge.
Yeah, he was. I think Mark took me in the back.
Oh, Mark.
Mark Nelson.
Yeah, 9.5.
Yeah, 9.5. Yeah, he took me in the back, and okay, you do this and this and that, right? So this is the first time I used a foot pedal TIG machine. Because in Japan, everything in the finger.
Right.
By hand, right? I'm looking for the torch. There's nothing to trigger.
Yeah.
Right? And
so now you're like,
oh, what the fuck? I don't know how to use this machine.
Yeah.
I of course I was nervous too at the same time.
Of course.
I can't fuck this up. You know, I move here. I you know what I mean? It's
your dream to work at West Coast.
Yeah, this is my moment. I gotta make this happen. And I welded. The first time, I guess I welded it together. It wasn't great. It's not pretty at all, right? If I look at it now, it's like, oh man, this guy doesn't know how to weld. But anyhow, and oh shit, well, it's together now. It's just see what happens. And this again, Bill fucking Dodge right here.
Yeah.
He looked at the piece, right?
Yeah.
And in front of everybody, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody. I remember Rockabilly J were there.
Yeah.
And a couple guys were there. He looked at the piece and he threw it.
He threw it?
Yeah, he threw it. He goes, he ain't no welder.
He ain't no welder?
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck can you do, Bill?
Wow, right in front of everyone. He ain't no welder.
He ain't no welder. He just threw the piece.
Wow.
And he went upstairs, talked to Jesse, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't think he wanted to hire me. I mean, the Bill.
Uh-huh.
But I went to Jesse, and Jesse goes, Bill goes, yeah, Jesse really likes you. I mean, you can learn.
Yeah.
Fuck, man, Jesse's the one who opened the door for me. Everything,
wow.
You know what I mean? Without Jesse, I'm not.
So he went up and said, this guy sucks, and Jesse probably said, I don't care, still hire him?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's what happened.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, man. That was super cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how it
So
started.
Jesse, does he come down and go, hey, I heard you suck, but you can work here?
How
does it happen?
He didn't. I don't think he mentioned anything about it when I saw him, after that. But he was just,
So Bill said, hey, you're hired?
Yeah.
And so do you say how much money or anything, or you just say I don't give a fuck, and you just pull up and start living in your van right there?
Yeah, I was living in the van, but I got of course I got paid and stuff, so I got move into the apartment and stuff later on.
Wow.
But yeah, I was just happy and
So when you start there, what's your job? Making fenders, or what are you doing?
no, actually, because I think Bill asked me what I can do, right? He asked me a bunch of questions, and yeah, I know how to work on motor, but of course he doesn't trust me. You know, the language different and whatever.
Yeah.
And so I guess I started working on the bikes, not sheet metal, basically mechanic.
Wow, working on the engines.
Yeah.
And what year were we talking? 2000? Is that right?
2001 maybe?
Wow.
2, something like that. I don't know.
And what bikes are around at that time? Is it like, do you remember like some of the bikes that were being built?
Yeah, I remember, of course I remember Sturgis Special.
Wow. It's like one of the best.
Right. I think that was 2003.
Yeah, that was 2003.
Yeah, I remember that bike. And the first bike I worked on was the Green Diablo.
Oh, yeah. So you're working on the motors?
No, that was the repair work.
Wow.
Repair work. And I don't know, I can go on and on between the conversation with Bill, got heated and,
Yeah.
yeah. That's Bill.
yeah.
He told me to change the oil pump, right?
Yeah.
I asked him, so what is it doing? Why am I changing oil pump? Because I want to know the reason, then so I can diagnose it. He goes, just fucking change it. Oh, okay. And then I asked, okay, I have to, I need a certain tool to take pinion gear off, whatever, right, on the motor. So I asked Bill, hey, do you have the tool that I can use? Oh, you don't need that shit. It's like, really?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That was a whole different story,
Yeah, just butting heads the whole time.
Yeah.
But it gave it an outlaw flavor and a vibe. And also, the Count Chocula is one of the dopest bikes ever out of there. Crazy single down tube, and the way he mounted that motor mount off the bar and stuff, and the Count Chocula seat and the paint, root beer with the gold leaf, it was just like, wow.
Yeah.
But I think the best one I owned was Death Dealer. Like I sold Death Dealer to get Chongo, but Death Dealer, the way a 2-up handles, because I'm shorter. Like that was the problem with a lot of the bikes were built for Jesse. So all of them for like 6-foot dudes. And then you get on, you go, I can't reach the controls. And they go, well, that's your bike. Get out of here.
Yeah. I test rode almost all the bikes. I feel, exactly how it goes.
Yeah.
Riding like daddy's bike. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't even reach sometimes.
The stuff I love is like Hetfield's Papa Het, the knuckle with the weird. I love the 2-up small bikes.
Yeah.
With baby apes, like the Decker, the Tony's wife's bike. Not Chongo, but Death Dealer. Any of the 2-up CFL or the Dominator 200.
Right.
Not the 250, but once the Dominator had a 200, those are some of the best motorcycles I've ever rode. Yeah. And I've owned hundreds of, over 100 bikes probably,
Right.
But those bikes, at what point while you're working there do you go, holy shit, these machines are insane? Because I sell these bikes right now for people all the time, and I still hear the same bullshit. You'll never get that fucking money. You're out of your mind. And then I get that money because these bikes ride fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
They're not a big dog. They're not a Swift. They're not an Orange County chopper. It's handmade art that fucking hauls ass and rides and looks great because Jesse loves like Frisco and all that stuff,
Yeah.
At what point are you in there and you go, fuck, this shit is great? Because you're riding them now.
Right.
You're test riding them.
Yeah, first time I rode is SNS 124 motor, and then, that rigid.
Yeah.
Got I think it was a 180 rear tire on it. That was Rick's bike, car fixer's bike. Remember him?
Yeah.
I rode it. There's some kind of mechanical issue. I don't remember what it was, but I rode it for a little bit. It's like, whoa, man, what kind of motor is this?
Yeah.
It's such a powerful motor. And I remember Skippy, Anthony. I asked him, man, what kind of motor is this? I was just blown away. And it handles good too.
Fuck yeah.
And everything. So yeah, it was crazy though. It's the first time I rode those SNS 124.
Yeah.
That's kicked my ass.
I think that's a great motor.
Yeah.
I think it's better than all the motors. Because once the Patrick's billet and stuff, that stuff kind of heated up and seeped, and the aluminum, and they would leak.
Right.
But if, like that twin cam that I had that was zippers, or if you get an SNS 124, Those two motors, man. It's
reliable.
the reliable and the way the power comes on is violent.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I had Skippy's bike, the Evo was killer.
Right.
That one had an Evo and it was great. I love it, man. It's
But I think a lot of people got bigger motor than 124, maybe more powerful motor in their motorcycle, but they can't ride it.
Yeah, like 145s and all that.
Yeah, 145. I mean, it's a good motor, but the way people put the bike together.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
you can't
true.
turn. You know what I mean? It doesn't handle for shit.
Yeah, people like the 250 and the 300 tire was just, if you don't ride, we're talking about a rear tire width. Most bikes growing up were 130s and 150s rear tire. Then it got to 180. 180 feels like, to me, the best tire.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then the big tire stuff comes, and it's all looks. And it's also known to me as the unridables, the unrideable era.
Right.
And you get a 250, a 300, and you try to go into a turn, and you can't get that bike to move over.
Yeah. We, at West Coast, we built the bike with 250, 282.
Yep.
It was hard to maneuver, like turn and
Dominators.
stuff. Yeah, but still, still you can ride. You just know how to, kind of how to handle your
You got to learn how to ride them.
Yeah, and but that time everybody was building bikes.
Yep.
Right, and we went to Sturgis with West Coast. That was another story of my, the Sturgis is such a big thing in my head.
Yeah. Now you're going with West Coast as superstars.
Yeah, kind of, right?
Right. What year is that? Like the Sturgis with on the Sturgis Special 03?
No, that's after that.
After that.
After that. I don't remember the year, but
yeah.
I remember Hank Williams Jr. was playing. That was awesome. But when I go to Sturgis, there's so many bikes, so many custom bikes. It's
crazy.
It's fucking crazy, and none of them you can ride it.
Yeah, and they all looked like junk. They looked like these Daytech frames with a fucking RevTech motor thrown in there with some shit, Chinese tranny.
Right.
And then these bad seats and dumbs. It was just all bolt together stuff.
Yeah, that's where it comes in. Jesse he's a great designer.
Yeah.
But he knows basic what you call this, the motorcycle how it should be, how it handles, and rake and whatnot, right? But those guys, they started putting together. Basically, they're a bike builder, but to me, it's like
they don't understand geometry,
and they can't even wire the bike. They can't even fix the bike.
Yeah.
Chopper, we're working together at West Coast too. Him and I always, we are neighbor now. We're like, and his shop is like across away from my shop. We all talk like. We get a bike from different custom shop. They're a bike builder, but it's like we're mechanic before bike builder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
So, but the same thing is in Sturgis. Everybody was a bike builder.
Well, it's like architects against construction workers.
Right.
It's the same thing. The architect can build the designs and everything, but then you go in the house and you go, well, this house is funky because you need a construction worker, like a guy to go, oh, that's not going to work.
Right.
It may look cool, but it's going to be uncomfortable and lousy.
Right.
And that's what it comes down to, like Jesse Rode,
Right. And he rides motorcycles.
He rides
Does
motorcycles.
ride,
Yeah. So he goes, no, that's not going to work. Because like when you go into a turn, it's going to suck.
Right.
Or this is going to vibrate and break off. All that shit. Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, that was I got lucky working because I didn't know how Jesse was. I just saw him in the magazine, and it looks cool, and I wanted to work for him. And that was, the best shop I could work at at the time.
Well, number one shop in the world.
Number one. So.
Yeah. So immediately you've got like a stamp of like from there, you always have this, I worked at West Coast, you know what I mean? Which is going to get you work.
Right.
Now, when you're there, it starts to explode. Coors commercials, the TV show, the no love parties. It's got to be an incredible time in your life of like this guy from Japan who's now in ground zero of the hottest chopper shop ever.
Yeah, that was just such a one of a lifetime experience.
Yeah,
so that was if I would do it again if I could.
Yeah, right.
It was just such a fun time, and I worked there none of the every day I'm excited to go to work.
Yeah.
I didn't have any day saying, oh, I don't want to go there today.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to work. So that tells you, right there. I was just every day was new. Something's happening, and it was fun. The great people I work with. I love the people I work with. I still, talk with. I mean, we're still friends.
Of course.
I mean, not everybody's doing motorcycle anymore.
No.
Everybody took different route, of course. But yeah, I met great people over there, and I met really all the skilled people. You know what I mean? Great designer, great welder, and fabricator, and
learn shit from it.
Yeah, totally.
And then once it moves across the street, the work environment is unbelievable. You're in this massive warehouse with this red floor and your own fucking lift and area, and it's just clean and killer,
Yeah.
And you can eat at Cisco Burger a block away, It's just like...
That was later on, huh?
And there's just giant stars coming by, like Shaq and fucking... what's the dude from the Matrix?
Keanu.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
And I mean, all celebrities are coming by at the time, right? Like, it's got to be mind-boggling.
It's crazy, though, yeah.
Yeah, right? You're from Japan.
Right.
Now, one of the bikes that I really thought was cool that was too bad the place went out of business was the CFL 3.
Right.
And I heard it was one of the most hardest frames in the world to make because it had all those pieces in the back, like an old BMX Redline bike. It was kind of a square back. Were you making any of the frames or just strictly motor?
Oh, back then?
Back
at West Coast?
Like once CFL 3 comes around, it's kind of wild, right? You're like, whoa, a new frame coming.
Right. I don't remember how many frames they made over there. We made. I didn't weld any of it. And it's a sheet metal in the brake machine.
Yeah.
So there's not much. I mean, it's a lot involved. It's a really complicated frame, but I don't remember. I remember we built a bike, SNS bike, red bike.
Yeah.
Like maybe I remember four or five bikes, and then I quit. So that was the end of the.
Now, what makes you quit?
Well, everything. It started going. Of course, slow. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
All the TV's gone.
Yeah, the TV's gone.
The economy, whatever that is.
Yeah, and it really was kind of a ghost town over there. Like you'd show up and there'd just be nothing going on.
Yeah, that's the time everyone was scared to get laid off on Friday.
Yeah, every Friday.
Yep, every other Friday they're like, oh boy, But yeah, everybody left, and I don't know why they left, why they got fired. I don't really know the detail.
Well, once that Toyota guy comes in, he's kind of out of his mind, right? There's like that guy that was like, he came from Toyota. He was trying to be like the GM or whatever. It was just some big white dude.
Oh, yeah, what's his name? Yeah, I remember who it is. Yeah, I don't remember his name.
He was just kind of like, I remember when over there, he's like, I go, I want to get some shirts. This guy wants to buy a bike, $100,000. He's like, okay, 40 for the shirts. I'm like, what? This guy's buying a $100,000 bike today. Just give him the shirts. And he's like, he was all like, I'm going to bring it back.
Yeah,
and it was
trying
just
to
like,
make it all corporate.
Yeah, I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And then it was just over.
Yeah, I was there, and I ended up being a manager of the bike department.
Right. After Skippy leaves?
Yeah, after Skippy and Rick left. Yeah, and...
So it's just you and Rockabilly J left?
We still had a few people. There's 3 guys as a mechanic.
You had that kid I sent there from Harley. Forgot his name. Young kid. Hoops. Stevie Hoops.
Steve, yeah.
He was
Steve
working
was
there.
There's a guy named Matt. Was there? That dude talks a lot. So he kept talking to me, right? It's like just stupid shit. I gotta get to work. So I started putting an earplug.
No shit.
In front of his face. I don't want to hear your shit.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice guy, but we gotta get shit done. I mean, especially there's not many people here.
Yeah.
And we're still busy.
And you still have that list of people from years that want to get their bikes built.
Right.
And that's got to be stressful. They're calling the shop like, "Where's my bike? It's been 2 years," and you don't know what to tell them, right?
It was before I was dealing with everybody. You know? But I got to get to the point, Jesse, I was fortunate. Jesse trusted me to put me in the position where I was at. But, I have, who buys West Coast choppers?
Yeah.
It's
Rich
like
people.
Rich people, who successful people.
Yep.
Who want status, right?
Yep.
They're like a trophy.
Totally.
Okay, what I have. This is what I have.
I got a
you know?
Lamborghini. I got
Right.
3 West Coast and a yacht.
Right, and I buy it from Jesse James, right?
Yep.
And now I'm kind of like dealing with customer, so they came to West Coast, and I'm the one they need to talk to.
Yeah.
Okay, and look back, right? If I think of it, if I'm on the other side, okay, I'm successful guy. I want to buy Jesse James bike.
Yeah. I want to talk to Jesse.
Yeah, and I don't want to talk to Jap.
Yeah.
You know, no, really though.
No, yeah,
You know
yeah.
why I'm talking to this Asian guy?
Yeah. They
It's
want
like-
to talk to Jesse.
Right.
That's part of the thing.
Yeah.
They show up, Jesse, give him a tour. Every time I brought a guy, Jesse would give him a tour. It was great.
Right.
And the guy would be
Exactly, yeah.
fired up. He'd be like, I'm ready to go. And he'd
Right.
show you some badass guns, knives, and cars and
Right.
bikes. He would do a couple wheelies or his Raptor or whatever he had. And then you'd fucking leave and the guys would be like, I'm buying a bike.
Right,
But
right.
yeah, if you show up in the later era, you come out and go, oh yeah, this is the CFL3. The guy's like, where is everybody?
Right.
Is this even real anymore?
Right. Yeah, so I got to the point, no, this is not right. They don't want to, if I don't want to buy bike from me.
Yeah.
I want to buy a bike from Jesse, right?
Yeah.
If I got that kind of money and no, this is not that. This is not what I want to do.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Jesse taught me a lot of stuff. Usually the West Coast was, if you're doing sheet metal, that's all you do all day long, right?
Yeah.
If you're putting bike together, you're doing that all day long. Machines, the old machine, mill, lathe, whatever that is, right?
Making rims,
Right.
bars, whatever your gig was.
Right, but I wanted to learn everything.
Yeah.
So during the 7 years, I was bugging Bill
Yeah.
at the shop manager at the time. I was bugging Jesse. So he put me on different area.
Yeah.
I could do sheet metal in the morning. I can assemble motor in the afternoon, and next day I'll test ride the bike.
So you learn it all.
I learned a lot what to do, what not to do too, of course, right?
Yep.
From mistakes, and that was. I just really had a great experience, at West Coast.
Yeah. So you quit, and that's got to be kind of scary, right? You're like, now what?
Yeah, now what?
Did you
right?
save any money, or do you just like fucking living like check to check, or because now you're starting over?
Right. At the time I had an old car. I was renting house, but I got kicked out. But nobody, none of the landlord want somebody working on their car in the driveway and making mess driveways all everywhere.
Yeah.
So I got kicked out. So, but I had one car and 2 motorcycle, like piece of shit though, all the motorcycles.
Yeah.
So I rented a space like a garage, like warehouse.
Yeah.
And
In Long Beach?
in Hawaiian Garden.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So I was living in the shop. So I didn't have any welding machine or anything, but I had a space to do business already.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, let's give it a shot.
Right.
I'm pretty optimistic. I've been lucky for this long. I won't be unlucky guy from this point.
Yeah,
You know
and
what I mean?
now all people need a place to get their West Coast serviced or worked on or whatever,
Right.
and they trusted you.
Right.
So if they could find you, you would have that kind of work.
Yeah, that's one thing I didn't want to do though,
Gotcha.
because that's kind of to me. I don't know. Depends.
It's
everyone has
ghetto
different
work.
idea, but
Yeah,
it's
it's
I
not
don't-
art.
right? I don't want to disrespect Jesse.
Yeah.
I quit West Coast. Hey, I was at West Coast. Hey, give me a job.
Right.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But I had a space. I started doing repair work. Started building kind of custom bike, but it's not high end bike.
Right.
So I started doing chopper, like 60s, 70s by Ironhead, and chop it up.
And how are you getting? Were you getting work like word of mouth?
Yeah, everything's word of mouth.
Right. And so you're in this warehouse, you got no tools or nothing, you're just like living in there. Guys
Right.
show up, they need something worked on. What did you do? You just borrowed tools and
Oh,
shit?
no, I had a basic tool,
Got ya.
wrenches and stuff, but I didn't have milling machine. I didn't have lathe,
Yeah.
and I don't have frame fixture.
Right.
I don't have sun and home machine.
Yeah.
Now I have all that, but I don't have, those. I basically had the basic tools.
Yeah.
Any mechanic has. You know what
Gotcha.
I mean?
Yeah.
And I also had all the special tool to the engine. So I don't have any issue getting job.
Yeah.
And then of course I sold the car, motorcycle, whatever I had.
And you're just living in that warehouse.
Yeah.
It's pretty radical.
Yeah, it is. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, in a way, dream came true. My own shop. I'm broke.
Yeah.
I don't have any money, but I do what I do. I love what I do.
Yeah. That's like what I love. Now you're next to Chopper Dave, right?
Yeah, across away from his shop.
Yeah. And you're in Hawaiian Gardens, which is, I love the name of that, you know?
Nothing Hawaiian about it, though.
Yeah. So I know. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
So you start this year, now how many years you been doing that shop there?
I had a shop for 10 years.
10 years
Almost
now?
10 years. But I was working working for Jesse when I kicked out from the house.
Right.
So I was already living in the shop.
Oh, I gotcha.
To save money,
Yeah.
And I have my place for 10 years. I moved there. I same complex.
Yeah.
But when you came to my shop,
Yep.
that was I was in the smaller shop, which like Chopper Dave's side.
Yep.
But I had 2 units, so I just moved the bigger one.
Wow.
But I've been there in same area, same complex for almost, I think, 10 years.
You still living in there?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because I saw you got a girlfriend now, right? I don't think you could live in there, right? With a chick?
No, that's not gonna fly.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this year, Born Free, the company is called Hog Killers.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you come up with the name, for one? And and you were selected to build for Born Free, and your bike knocked me out.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was
thank you.
really cool. The paint was killer, and it looked like a complete rideable machine, which was so important. How'd you come up with the name?
Name Hog Killers was actually when Rockabilly Jen and I went to swap meet,
Yeah.
and we found the helmet in the corner of this little booth, and this little kid. We were just looking at helmet.
Yeah.
And this kid came, hey, this helmet's for $5.
Uh-huh.
Right? But he goes, but I'll take $3.
A little kid?
Yeah, little kid was trying to help his dad, but he just $5, but you can pay $3.
Yeah, yeah.
And maybe that's what his dad told. Ask him for $5, but you can take $3 too.
Yeah.
But he threw everything on the table first.
Yeah.
So I got the helmet. I wasn't gonna buy it. That was a cool helmet. And it says Hog Killer on it. There's no S though.
Uh-huh.
Hog Killer on it. And then I started wearing the helmet, test riding helmet.
Uh-huh.
And kind of like, people kind of making fun of me. Kind of, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to explain. Like, cool graphic on it and Hog Killers. And it's like, we were like having, we were having fun.
Yeah.
And then Hog Killers just kind of stuck with me when I was working for West Coast.
Wow. All the
Yeah.
way back then, huh?
Yeah, then and I started my business, and I don't know what I want to pick, Then the Hog Killers, I put the S in the back because I don't want to do it by myself. I want to do it with like West Coast, West Coast, Jesse's shop, but it happened because everybody was there.
Totally.
All the great people, they
Totally.
worked together. Of course, it's Jesse's the boss. It's his shop, and he's
Of course.
But we all respect.
It's like a great band.
right.
You got a 5-piece band, and each guy brought something to the table.
Right.
That's what West Coast Choppers was.
Right.
It was personalities, and it was skills, and
Right.
it was an electricity. You got Rockabilly J. You got you. You
Right.
got Skippy. You got Chopper Dave. And even Bill Dodge.
Right.
All that era. It's even Rockabilly J a couple days ago. He posted a little clip of that Coors commercial.
Oh, yeah.
And when you think
right.
back of that, you just go like, it was so fucking big.
Yeah.
So big. But it wouldn't have worked if the bikes weren't great.
Right,
It wouldn't have
exactly.
worked because, of course, everybody was making choppers then, But these were so fucking good.
Right.
I mean, look at all of it. They're like famous now. When I talk to people, they're like, oh yeah, Death Dealer, Chongo. They got these names, you know what I mean?
Right,
Pete Adams Dominator. Just names of these bikes, And it's amazing that you got to, it's a lot like the Comedy Store to me. I got to watch the best comics in the world every night. And you got to watch like everything, the best fabricators and the
Right,
best,
sure.
everything, man. I mean, all that shit was made by hand there. And you got to see it grow and you got to see it explode, implode, and you're still in it.
Right.
And that's where the true chopper scene is now.
Right.
Born Free are the real dudes. It weeded out all the rich guys. They're on to their fucking new hobbies, their, Ducati or whatever,
Right.
And the real dudes are out there.
Right.
So like when I see you and I see, Roland Sands still there
Right.
in it, and Paul Cox and all those dudes that were around back then are still doing it.
Right.
That's the real dudes.
Yeah, totally. I mean, the Born Free is a new kind of not a new. It's like
Right.
8th year, but
Totally.
it's one of the biggest event on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again this time this bike we built for this year, the Tanner from West Coast, he was a artist at West Coast. He was doing all the graphic.
Oh, I remember him. He'd like make the frames on the screen and shit. Like,
Yeah, he was
a designer.
a designer, and he painted that bike. So I'm still connected with those people from West Coast choppers,
Yeah.
And Tanner Goldbeck, he painted it, and I met this Japanese guy last year in Moon Eyes. He did all the engraving.
Yeah.
And I tried new things on this, but I try to do new stuff I don't want to do cookie cutter bike,
Right. Yeah. Fuck that.
Yeah, so the chopper Dave, he helped me out
With
on
the
the
casting?
piece.
Yeah.
So it's all teamwork,
Yep.
So it was again the Hog Killer is the same thing. It's not like I'm not as big as West Coast choppers, of course.
That's
I'll
not
never
the
be.
point. Right. That's not the
But
point.
I got 3 guys working for me, and just four.
Three guys, though. That's great.
4 of us, just we're working together. I mean, he knows something more than I do. I know something more than he does. Just we help each other.
Yeah. You got a lot of business?
Yeah, it's busy. I'll take more work.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
I'll take any money anytime, any seconds. But we're really busy and building bikes.
Look at the dudes that also were involved in West Coast. Were all the best dudes. It's like Bill Wall making the seats, or
Right.
Paul Cox.
Yeah.
What's his name that did the engraving? Yeah, the engraving. And then Hot Dog that did the paint.
Right.
Then you working on the motors. It was such a fucking A-team, you know?
Right.
What an A-team of dudes. Even the dude that was doing the interiors up the street there in Long Beach, the Hispanic guy.
Mauricio.
Yeah, Mauricio.
Yeah, Mauricio.
Yeah, all those guys were all great at what they did. You know?
Right. They got talent for sure. Some of them got a personal issue.
Yeah. It's tough to deal with people when they're making something custom and you're on it. You need to. I need this bike to go to pay these bills.
Yeah.
And then the guy comes back, he's not happy. And then it's like you have to backpedal. Like, oh, fuck, I got to fix this. Now I'm going to lose. Or you say, fuck off, and then the guy leaves unhappy. It's really hard to be an owner of a business, right?
Yeah, but you just got to just talk to people.
Yeah, I deal with it.
You know
Like,
what
I
I mean?
love leather jackets, custom leather jackets.
Right.
And you just, it's always a small guy in a small area.
Right.
And you go, hey, dude, the jacket doesn't really fit right.
Right.
And you're like, they just say shit to you like, what are you talking about? It fits fine. And you're like, if I wanted this fit, I would just buy off the rack, And that's, you need to talk to people and you want to make sure they're happy because they're going to fucking tell the next guy, you got to go to Aki. It's incredible. Hog Killers.
Yeah, I love talking to people. I like, I moved here from Japan.
Yeah.
I was the one customer in Japan. I was one of the end users, Harley Davidson user.
Yeah.
And now I'm here on my shop, and just American people come to my shop, and they kind of, they bring their bike for me to work on. So I really enjoy. I can't ask more than this. I'm really happy with what I do.
Yeah, that's great, dude.
I'm really lucky. I've been lucky. I mean, I'm all luck.
Yeah, right? How old are you?
I'm 41. I'll be 42.
Wow. Yeah, man, that's fucking great. All right, you got a website?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just www.hogkillers.com.
Hogkillers.com.
And the Instagram,
You got an Instagram,
yeah,
Hog Killers.
Hog Killers, and then it's Facebook the same way.
Yeah.
Hog Killers.
I love you, man.
Yeah.
And thanks for doing the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
And your bike really rocked me. I thought it was fucking great. Take a look at his bike on Instagram. He also has parts he sells, and Chopper Dave has great parts also. And Jesse's out there in Austin doing guns and knives and motorcycle once in a while.
Yeah. Must be nice, huh?
Yeah, right? All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you later.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.